We talked about what was passed and what was signed into law, and the different versions of the tax something. The National Assembly set up a committee to look at the tax palaver in December. This is February. They've not been able to bring a report. They are trying as much as possible to sweep it under the carpet. Is that not a nation where the leaders think more about themselves than the people? And when the minority caucus comes out to say, oh, there's a palaver with the tax, the National Assembly tries to shut them down. Look at the electoral law. Mandatory real-time transmission. But today they are telling us we don't have internet in every part of the country. This was the same thing that they did the last time when they were about to sign this into law. The lawmakers is just about themselves. Why? They are so afraid because they can't win an election free and fair. If they can win an election free and fair, we will not have technical glitch during the elections. When they have technical glitches because they can't win an election free and fair. If they can win an election free and fair, pass mandatory transmission into law, and they should not cheat in the elections. Let's see. And they should not cheat. They cannot do it because they are so scared. If we have a nation where the leaders take people seriously, they will not have the effrontery to do what is against the will of the people. And that's why I say this year we're going to be on radio, we're going to be on social media. And please, today officially, I'm also giving many radio stations the right to be able to carry most of my content and play it on their stations. Carry most of my content and play it on their stations. You can go and take it from my YouTube. You can go and take it from my Facebook, Instagram. Play back this content. It's powerful. It's a content of liberation. We live in a nation where the leaders do not respect the people. Look at Kwara. Our condolences to the people of Kwara. How many people dead? Over 150. It took the security authorities 10 hours. 10 hours after before they could respond to the plight of the people. Your people are dying, but it takes security authority 10 hours. And you think they respond to they care more about the people? They don't. And when you have a society where people don't care about the people, that's what you see. You see killings. Till today, they've not brought the perpetrators to book. 0907 651 1008. And hardly in most cases, they hardly bring the perpetrators of these crimes to book. Look at the killing. Look at the squalor. Look at blood. Their only offense is that they are Nigerians. When the security authorities do well, we praise them. But sometimes you wonder, is there security in this country? Somebody sent me a message. Only God knows what's happening in Ebonyi, Abakaliki. People are being beaten. People are being hurt also there. All of these things are an indication that people don't care that much. I know the argument you're going to put forward is that you have these things in another country. Yes. But do you see how they respond to it? How do we respond to ours here? When people were talking about Christian genocide, What did we do? We went to get a lobby group that we paid over $9 million to see another part of the narrative. At the same time, it has not stopped the killing. And so when some people were celebrating Donald Trump calling the name of the First Lady, I asked, is Donald Trump calling the name of the First Lady at a national prayer conference? Will it bring back the lives of people that have died in Kwara? Will he heal the heartbroken? What will he do? Will Nigeria continue to depend on other nations to solve their problem when we have leadership? We have lost our capacity to think. We've had over 3 or 4 budget cycles. All of it has just been about how to put money in the pockets of some people. Because World Bank is praising us, it doesn't mean things are good. It means that World Bank interest is being met. That's why they will praise you. And if you think World Bank is in the interest of the suffering people of this country, then you have to think again. They are called the Bretton Woods Institution. They have their own mandates. They will tell you remove subsidies. But they will not tell you how bad the effect is on the lives of people. People have become poorer and they don't earn more. Look at crime and criminality. Almost everybody that parades themselves as a big man now, when you check it, you start to ask questions. So what society are we building? All of this happens because in a country, you have a leadership that thinks more about itself. And that's why I say it's going to be a year of enlightenment. And that's why I say I've given you the permission. Radio journalists, feel free to use my content all over the country, all over the world. Take them, social media, take them, play them back on your radio stations. More radio stations, use them in Lagos, other parts, use them. Let the people's eyes be open. Use them. Open their eyes. Everybody has a right to be coming to speak on the public space. But the question is, are they speaking the truth? A lot of people will come and speak lies to you. You will know when they will say it. We will speak the truth to you. Some people will come and tell you that food is getting cheaper in this country because they are flying private jets and they are rubbing women's leg. And they are calling it AI. (0907-651-1008). A nation whose leaders do not respect the people. A nation whose leaders do not respect the people. That's what we have become. The phone numbers to call us up, 0907-651-1008. As this is a year before politics will become more political. Very soon now, mid-month, mid-year, party was having their convention. You need to open your eyes. Hello, how are you?
Hi, good morning.
Morning, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
My brother, I am Chris from Ogun State.
Where in Ogun State are you calling from?
I'm calling from Ibeta, precisely.
Okay, talk to me, my brother.
Yes, my brother, may God bless.
It is well.
We have 11 great Nigeria players that are anchoring the program. Now, before I go further, there are some programs you people run. Nobody will beat it in the next 10 years. Nobody. I leave my place Monday morning when I came back today, I will get all the news that happened when I was not around. So you people are there. My brother, we need more of you. We are hearing what you are saying. Not everybody can call. For millions are listening to you. You are a role model. Sure. Keep it up. That is only what I would say. Keep it up. Thank you. We are following you people.
It is well.
You see this election that is coming up. You see this election that is coming up.
Yeah.
What they will see will be bigger than them. Do you see how all governors are joining the ruling party?
Yeah.
Those governors will dump the ruling party that minute because the pressure that will come up, they cannot be able to control it. Never. So they will be forced to quit and dump and face the truth. Don't worry. Let their pulling out, joining the ruling party, let it not scare anybody. Because what is coming up is bigger than them. Legally, not violent, no.
Bless you. Bless you so much. I appreciate you. I don't know. They just removed my access from TikTok. So TikTok people, if you don't hear me, I don't know. They just removed my access from TikTok. I don't know what happened. They said I can join back live in February. I don't know how you people do it over here. We'll do it across all these platforms. We'll do it across our radio. And we'll also be using one of that very strong platform that was just set up, Licky. I'm going to be using that platform too to communicate a lot. And we'll see how all of this pans out in the coming days. 0907 651 1008. 0907 651 1008. A nation whose leaders are children, whose leaders do not see the future, whose leaders are so focused on themselves, but they forget that the people need to be respected. Hello, how are you?
Hello.
Great to have you.
Yes, thank you very much for what you are doing. I really appreciate you. My name is Mobo, calling from Lagos.
Great to have you, Mobo.
Yes. So this Kwara issue, I just want to ask, where is Lai Mohammed? When he was there, Buhari said all criminal, all Boko Haram were decimated. Where is he in Kwara? Is he
my brother, they will not talk. Thank you. They will not talk.
I thank God he said this happened now, right in the justice.
We will not talk, my brother. They will not talk. That's why we are talking across many platforms. That's why we are having radio.
What our governors are doing. I've never seen country like this.
They will not talk.
Just because of forces, because of life, because of threats, so that they will remain there forever. They started to cross carpet to APC. It's very, very unfortunate.
If I get
Niger Delta, they are switched to APC just because of their sex. Because they believe when the election comes, the APC will use their police, they will use their minds, they will to continue to harass, arrest every person, put them in the prison until the election is finished. That is why. So that because if that's what happened, they cannot win the election because police are come, because this government is using police heavily. Just look at what happened at Edo State. Every person they were every person.
Yes.
And keep them in the cooler until the election at the end of the day. It's okay all the work.
It's so sad.
That's what they saw. That's why the PDP, all of them are just constipated.
It's so sad. Bless you. We keep talking about it. We keep talking about all of these things. We're not going to stop talking. we keep talking. You know why we are talking? Because God will ask us, what did you say when you saw all of this happen? God is going to ask all of us. So the earlier we speak, the better it is for us. Hello? Hello? Great. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Ikotepe.
What's your name, sir? Speak up, sir.
My name is Moses.
Moses.
I want to say contribution that we in Nigeria, we are ready to prepare. And how many people they don't fit to us? They want to do what they mind. When they reach there, where the everywhere go kata kata, governors, everybody go wrong. People where go die, you die. People go remain to them.
No, we don't call for violence. All we call for is let integrity take its course.
They want to do the real thing. See what they are doing now for the like, nation. They want to give the loans for. They want to do because they understand what's going to happen. And now they want to rob us again.
That's why we keep speaking about it, but we don't call for violence.
I think they do the real thing. Because they get ready now for them. You can't continue this thing like this.
We don't call for violence. We eschew violence. We say no to violence. But we call for integrity and sensitization. That's all we call for.
Of course, we have to use our faith.
Mm-hmm.
When we use our faith, because see what they are doing now, our Senate now,
Mm-hmm.
now they say them inside there and not done. What they want to rob us again. Cannot happen again.
No, we'll keep speaking about the Senate home. We'll keep speaking about the Senate home. Thank you.
They don't care for our own.
No, now themselves they care for.
I don't think they don't care for whether I like their own.
Now themselves they care for.
To go abroad, our money, our clothes, go to buy car, buy.
That's all they know.
No, all of some of them then go for the school. How much we are paying them for school?
That's all they know.
So now, if you say now, God can never come and help you, right? And now, every time God will help us, which time God will help us?
So that's why we keep speaking truth to power, my brother. Thank you. I appreciate you plenty. God bless you. God bless you. That's why we're opening our eyes. As we get closer to politics, it's going to be election politics and opening your eyes. As regards what the Senate has done, write your lawmaker. Look for your lawmaker that represents you. In fact, there's already something on social media where the phone numbers of the lawmakers are already there. So get the numbers of the lawmakers. Send them a text message. Don't be abusive towards them. All right? Don't be abusive towards them. Just send them a message and say, respect the interests of Nigerians. The lawmakers and the harmonization community, don't be abusive towards them. Just tell them to respect the interests of the Nigerians. Get your own lawmakers number. Write them a mail. Record that you had your voices. Your voice also will count. Hello, how are you?
Oh, good morning.
Morning, great to have you. What's your name?
David from
David, talk to us.
Mr. Rufai, I just want to ask about this mobile that's going on.
Yes, people, you can see that the Senate is not ready. People are buying PVCs as we speak, and we encourage you, don't sell your PVCs to them. When the Senate was supposed to make a law to suspend anybody found buying PVCs for 10 years from politics, they said no, the person should go and pay fine of 5 million naira. You can see that they are not ready.
My brother, they are not ready.
You can see that they are not ready because they use all these methods. They lack the integrity.
I would call this the officer.
They lack the honesty. They lack the forthrightness.
I would just pass out the personal. No personal. What are you doing? You have my feelings. This is crazy. The way that is very legal shit. Give you 5,000. 5,000. I thought that people say 70,000.
You say you want to buy your PVC for how much?
Say you'll give me 5,000.
5,000 for your PVC. You see life. Want to collect your future for 5,000. You see how you see say they don't even rate us at all.
I thought they said 70,000. They said 70,000. Daruma 70,000.
You see, he don't collect even more than that amount. He won't use them for you.
They say that I don't think people. I don't have my things because of what is going on. Who said I said that I have the phone? I said yes, but when you took up this 5,000, what price need to do with 5,000? How much with the 5,000 there?
You see?
So it just become a bargaining issue.
Yes.
He said, okay, you make the 70. This way to the things. You understand? And they have called me more than 3 times today.
So the person keeps calling you that they want to buy your PVC for 5,000. He has called you 3 times today. Can you imagine? You can see what they are trying to do. And when we say this, let me even tell you one that happened last week. When we started revealing this secret last week on the show, that callers were calling to confirm. One person called and was trying to say it's not true, was trying to shout on us. You will know that it's one of their agents.
One of the agents.
He's one of their agents because they are selling PVC in mass. They are buying PVC from people, giving them money because people are hungry. And that's why you see that the Senate cannot pass a law that will attack those that are buying PVC.
About that. I don't around the between and the lady, I don't understand the problem. Unless I thought the person of this is that if he listen to video now, he will know that I'm the one problem. He will know that I'm
Don't care, don't listen to him. Keep revealing them. Don't sell your PVC to anybody. Please. God will bless you. God will keep you. This Nigeria will be good. We'll say our own parts. We'll say our own part, my brother.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This country will be good. We believe it's going to be good. Do not sell your PVC to anybody. You hear what? They are buying PVC. And we know the people that are buying the PVC. We know the people that are buying the PVC. I want to buy the future of Nigerians. Hello, how are you?
Good morning, Mr. Rufai.
Morning, how are you, sir?
My name is Adebayo Adetunji.
Adebayo, great to have you.
Yeah, I'm really honored to speak with you this morning.
Bless you, my brother.
You're really doing a very good job.
Bless you.
My message.
Adebayo, has anybody come to meet you to sell your PVC to them?
No.
Okay, very good.
I've been with us.
Go ahead.
My message quickly is that I want all Nigeria to be united.
Yes.
And let us, anything they go to it, which I see all tribes, particularly tribe, try to avoid it. I'm a Yoruba man, and when I see something that is wrong, I still don't support it simply because it favors or my kinsman benefits from it. So we should all join hands together to make sure this country works.
That's just it. And let me tell you something. God bless you for that, because this thing we even used to say, my kinsman benefits from it. You are not benefiting from it as a citizen. It's your kinsman and his family members that will benefit from it. So let's stop harboring my kinsman, my kinsman, my kinsman. Let us say what will benefit the whole of Nigerians.
Whole of Nigeria.
That's just it. What are we asking for? Water. roads,
That's right.
healthcare.
Yes.
You go to the hospital. Look at the lady that died because of snake venom. Eh? Somebody is just sending me a message now that they are not asking people if they don't bring their PVC, they will not increase salary for them. Please tell me the name of that company, and whoever is saying that to people, will reveal them.
Really to be rescued. We have been trapped right now.
Yes.
From this minority who are just out for themselves.
And it's not about tribe. All of them are the same. The people that steal this country are all from different tribes.
All of them.
As at that point, they don't think of tribalism. It's you people they come to sell tribalism to.
That's it. I appreciate you, bro.
We'll keep speaking, my brother. We're not going to stop speaking.
Thank you, sir.
This country is for all of us. Nigeria, no. It's not for some people. All we are just saying is let the best man win. Anybody that is the best man for you, go and vote for him. Let's do it clean. But when you are already buying people's PVC, that means you are not sure you are going to win. When you are already saying that they should not do electronic transmission that the people want, and that Nigeria is not ripe for it, that means you are not sure people are going to win. That's just it. You are not sure they are going to win. You are not sure they are going to win. We can't allow this country to go this way. We have added Twitter to it. We're already on Twitter. Since TikTok will not allow us, we're already on Twitter. So for you TikTok followers, please, we've taken it to Twitter this morning. I don't know, TikTok stopped my live telecast, but we're pushing. 0907 651 1008. A nation where the leaders think about themselves and disrespect the people. A politician say people do not respect leaders in this country. Are leaders respecting themselves? Do leaders respect themselves? Do not allow people cause enmity between you and your brother and say you're from different tribe. That man at the top does not think of tribe when he's there. When they are looting Nigerian money, they don't think of tribe. When they are killing everybody. See, they killed a lot of Muslims in Kwara. They killed Christians too in Kwara. Most importantly, they killed Nigerians. Open your eyes. Open your eyes. If we don't open our eyes, we don't get anything done. Nigerians, open your eyes. Open your eyes. I'll take some of my last calls on the show this morning. 0907 651 1008. And we'll play excerpts of something pre-recorded already. You can continue to listen to that one on the VOP 90.3 FM YouTube page. We're live on many platforms. We're live on terrestrial radio. If you tune into your radio, you can hear my voice. We're also live on YouTube and many other platforms. Hello, how are you? Hello?
Hello, good morning, sir.
Morning, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Godwin Afowak, calling from Jakonde Estate.
Godwin, has anybody asked you for your PVC? Don't give them all.
No, they can never ask me, and I will not give it to them.
Very good.
My own is that whether they like it, all those senators, whether they like it or not, that electoral reform must be signed, or else we will not vote. Yes.
No, we'll press them. They will sign it. We'll keep putting pressure on them.
Surely sign it.
We'll keep putting pressure on them.
Nigeria is for all of us. We will not run away.
And if they don't sign, please come out and vote, because the easiest way for them to rig is when they see that you don't come out to vote. Please ensure you come out to vote, because that's another thing they used to rig.
Rufai, God will bless you.
Don't give them chance for
it. You have been seeing all you have been doing. God must continue to strengthen you and bless you.
Amen. Bless you too, my brother.
Yes, thank you.
We must not give them the chance. Nah. Because see, this is the gospel of Christ. This is the gospel of Christ. Imagine somebody want to buy another man's PVC for 5,000 naira, disturbing the person. You see how low these people are. Hello, how are you?
Yes, Rufai.
Great to have you. What's your name?
My name is George.
George, where are you calling from?
Lagos.
George, hope nobody is asking you for your PVC.
No, definitely not. And I'll never give anybody my PVC.
Bless you, sir.
But most importantly, what I want to say, Rufai, I've known you for years. I've known you for over a decade. And I know you've always spoken the truth and spoken to power. And you continually do so. Your voice is very strong, whether you realize it or not. So I want to pass across to the people. I heard you tell. Hello?
I'm with you.
Okay, I heard you tell the caller earlier that the senators are not ready because they refuse to pass the electoral act form that says that there must be electronic transmission of results.
Mandatory.
You said something that
mandatory.
You said that they are not ready. They are not ready. What I want to tell you is that it is Nigerians that are not ready. Their country. So all these things, we don't have to wait or depend upon the Senate to sign that bill or do the necessary amendment or not. We should demand it as Nigerians. That is what democracy dictates.
God bless you.
Understand what democracy is.
God bless you.
If your leaders are not giving what you want as the people under the democratic dispensation, you come out and demand it. So Nigeria should now make a demand to the Senate that they must approve electronic transmission of results. They must make it
mandatory.
That's what Nigerians want.
Yes.
We can sign a petition. Somebody, in fact, you can start it.
Yes.
We sign a petition.
Yes.
And once you get 5 million votes from Nigerians, signatures from Nigerians,
yes,
we'll send it to the Senate. If they still refuse to do the needful, then we'll send it to the US, we'll send it to UK, we'll send it across the world, and we must get what we want. That's the power of the people under democracy. Nigerians
yes.
Understand that. Rufai, please lead the charge.
Please, I've led the charge. I'm
a digital strategist.
Please, I've led the charge. I've led the charge. In fact, if you check my Twitter page, I have posted. God bless you, my brother. I've posted the face of the senators on the harmonization committee for their electoral bill, because the next phase they are going to now is harmonization. So they want to harmonize what the House of Reps passed with what the Senate passed. That's a crucial phase. I've posted the face of those senators. In fact, some other ones are going on. I think people can have access to their email addresses. Send them a mail, send them a letter. If we get millions of people to bombard them, then we do the needful. Have we not suffered enough? Hello? So if we get millions of people to bombard them, they will do the needful. So we're not just going to look at them and let these people truncate our country, because they know what they are doing. It's always about them. Is this not the same Senate that Bukachua came out to say that a lot of the senators used to come and beg him to help him beg his wife for favors? His wife is the head of the Court of Appeal.
Hello, Rufai.
Hello.
Yes, I just called you back.
Yes. So what I'm also going to do is the face of those people. I'm going to post it on. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Yes, I heard you. What I'm saying is that, look, we don't need to call them individually.
you said everybody should call those numbers and bombard those senators who are in the committee, harmonization committee, or whatever. We need to collectively gather our signatures online or something in form of a petition or demand.
No, so what I'm going to do is this. What I'm going to do, I think there's a website. I think there's a website where people sign petitions. My brother, I think there's a website where people change.org or something.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
So generate a petition from change.org. I will share it on my social media pages.
And then we refer Nigerians to it.
So what you're going to do for me is this. My brother, can you hear me? My Facebook page is Rufai Oseni. Generate a petition on change.org. Tag me, Rufai Oseni. I will ensure I push it out there for a lot of people. Let's all sign it. So let us start with that. Please, we have to do something now. See people, Kwara died. Kebbi kidnapped. See the case of Kaduna. They now return people after kidnapping them for about 2 weeks. They were now sewing Ashwebi for them. Is that the country we want? Hello.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Patrick is calling from Okota.
Great to have you, Patrick.
Yes, I really appreciate. I would just call you a human rights fighter as it is right now.
My brother, I'm fighting for my own life too because I live in Nigeria. I'm not getting any other way. Not be at this my age, I'll come to go hustle abroad though. I'm not getting anywhere where I will go. Not be at this my age. I don't pass the age of person where they go hustle abroad. I'm not be small picking. Not be at this age I go hustle abroad.
The people that are now coming God to us, did they go abroad?
No, now.
All of them school here.
Yes, now.
They are now turning to become the
No.
we have ever had in history. Even when the colonial masters were here, the country we have never run this way. So I really appreciate your work and the platform that you are trying to create. I want to encourage everybody. Let all of us join hands and mount that pressure on these people.
We have to.
We get the result.
We have to.
We'll continue to talk, just like you say. We'll keep talking and mounting more pressure.
Thank you.
Even the president's convoy, the son's convoy, who is not an affiliate of government, what kind of lavish living is that? And people are being killed every day. No mention of anything from the president. It is only when somebody criticizes, then Bionanuga will come out
and be abusing people. And be abusing people like saying I ain't no book pass. And when they corrected his English, he was calling Frank Shoaibu stupid boy because they correct. Now he sabi right pass. Now he do pass. No man is anybody's God now. Let's call a spade a spade. I respect Mr. Bayo Onanuga and his own, but it can't be insulting Nigerians.
Can you walk the street of Nigeria, the former Buhari school person who called us the Wayland? Where is him today? Just like somebody asked a question, where is Lai Mohammed? Who told us that Boko Haram had been defeated? Where is him? The people of Kaduna that went to sew uniform for people that were kidnapped, the arrangement was made to be.
I should be.
We don't even know where to turn to. But anyhow.
No, we'll keep talking. We'll keep talking, my brother. We're never gonna stop talking. So I should be. The next thing, Mr. Bayo Onanuga will start to insult everybody. You're a presidential spokesman. You're here to make the president look good. Mr. Bayo Onanuga, we be openly saying they should shoot Nigerians that go and steal slippers of trains. In case Mr. Bayo Onanuga does not know, I was reading the Blue Book. Blue Book is a history account of anything that happens in a year in Nigeria under the colonial days. As of 1920, stealing of sleeper cells of train, that thing they steal on train track, was a problem in Nigeria. I'm not saying it's good. We condemn people that do it, but they should go and face the full wrath of the law. Not you saying they should summarily shoot them and kill them and execute them. So if that's the way they'll be summarily executing everybody in this country, who will be alive? A presidential spokesperson said that in this country because he was upset. Because he was upset. That was how he abused me one day because I said something about the economy, and the next thing he called me one name, illiterate or something. And these are the people who criticize people past. They can't take criticism. What kind of country are we living in? I'm not saying everybody is. I'm not a saint, but there should be some basic level of decorum. The same Mr. Bayon Onuga was the one that said this should be the last time people of a certain ethnic group should participate in Lagos politics. Till today, he has not apologized for it. Let's want to build a country. Let's build it. We stand the test of time. Honor is befitting. You can't build a society without honor. It's honor that makes a life go round. Hello, how are you?
Hello, good morning.
Bless you.
This is Jennings from Ijugu, Lagos. Yeah.
Great to have you, Jennings.
Jennings from Lagos.
Yes, bless you, Jennings.
Thank you for all you are doing. It's a very good work, actually.
Bless you. I'm with you.
Yeah. You see, this country, the problem we have in Nigeria is there's no value for integrity.
For where?
Yes, we don't value integrity at all.
For where?
A man somebody has no integrity. That is Nigeria's leaders. I'm seeing them as mad people.
All them mad people. I don't believe in attacking names. No, just attack what they have done, but I don't believe in calling. Because if you are calling them mad people, I mean, it's tacky. I don't believe that. Yeah.
There's no value for that. That's what I'm saying. See, what is happening about this DVC they're buying? If they want to be safe, this is doing this thing. I think them at the airport there. When you register from BNL, NIN, or this, they give you 5,000 naira.
You see life?
So there is no law in this country. It's not that is doing all these things. I say the truth. I see them at the airport. They invite me to come. I say I cannot participate in that sort of.
Oh, so they've asked you for your own PVC. They want to buy your PVC in Yaba, right?
And all these documents,
you see?
They give me 5,000 naira. I say I cannot participate in that.
You see?
There's no government in Nigeria. That's what I'm saying. There's no law, no rule of law, no respect for law. Then how can we continue going like this? Tribal settlements. What is disturbing this country? We don't want to come together. Who people are doing good work with preaching, telling people to come together, but people cannot believe it.
No, they must come together. Maybe the sufferness is making them come together now. We all see the sufferness now.
Yes, actually, the greatest sufferness to the world, the Nigerians. That's what people see the truth. But let them that. And other things. I say the greatest poverty in order to buy Nigerians. But are we not up to the age to be reasonable in ourselves? Not the elite. Let's condemn this act.
Yes.
This is the way I do this thing. Hello,
yes, thank you so much. We'll keep talking about these things. Please, Nigeria, come together. Your Igbo, your Hausa, your Ibibio brother is not your problem. Stop fighting them. All of you are poor together. Who make you poor? Your leaders make you poor. It's your leaders that are the cause of your problem. So elect good leaders that will change your life. That's what we are saying. And there's the tribalism we are talking about is because all of these people, they are at the top, they are enjoying. It's because of their greed. Hello?
Hello, that's fine. Good morning.
Great to have you, my brother.
My name is Sunday. I'm calling from the.
Please speak up a little bit louder, my brother, so that the world can hear your lovely comments.
My name is Sunday.
Yes. Go ahead, man. Go ahead, sir.
Now, please, sir, your effort is very good. But look at the situation of Nigeria. So up to this time, I will still believe that Nigeria can work.
I believe it can work now because I don't have another country. I don't have another country now. Why will I not believe it can work? I don't have another country, and God sees my heart. I don't have a passport for another country. Even if I have, it's never going to be like my home. So, see, the work I will do to getting Nigeria to work is a life work. I will keep speaking. In fact, when things are even a lot better than this, I will still speak for it to be a whole lot better. So this is as long as there's air in my lungs, I will keep speaking to the greatest of Nigeria. This is the only country I know.
Okay.
So that's why I believe it can work.
Okay. Based on my argument, where I'm coming from is this. You are advocating that no person or people can give the money for their PVC.
Because once you collect the money, 4 years, you have sold it out.
Yeah, you sold it, yes.
Good. But for we to get exactly what we want, look at 2023. All of us are in Nigeria. Don't you see what we can do in Rivers State?
We saw it.
Okay. And then you believe that 2027, it cannot repeat itself.
It's all in the hands of Nigerians. So.
You believe that?
It's all in the hands of Nigerians.
Somebody called you in this program and said he cannot buy or sell his vote or this and that. That they must sign that electoral bill. But we can see the body language of senators that they don't want to sign it. You said something. You said Christians, they think they can win election. Even the one they occupying now, did they win?
They didn't win.
All of us are here.
A lot of them didn't win. A lot of them went to use courts to overturn it.
They don't win.
Yeah.
And he said, so how are you sure 2027 cannot repeat itself?
See, let me tell you, my brother. You can't say because you are not sure, you will stop trying. You will just allow your fate to be concluded like that. You have to fight.
Okay.
You have to keep fighting.
They will rewrite the result again.
It doesn't see. But what if the people say things will be done differently this time? So it's all about the people. That's why I'm giving you this sensitization. The way you are talking, my brother, you don't want Nigeria to change you. Before you know it now, you will serve these politicians' children the way you are talking. No, you better wake up and stop this defeatist mentality. You are not a defeated human being. No, you better carry yourself up and stop your defeatist mentality. The way you are talking, you just allow the children of this same politician that spoil your life to come and destroy you even more. Wake up. Don't be defeatists. Is it hard? Yes. But fight it at your age. As long as you have air in your lungs, Oga, you can't be defeatists. You can't be defeatists.
At my age, by August this year, I'll be 52. I'm not a young boy.
You'll be 52.
52, yes.
52 by August this year.
Yes.
And you are giving up at the age of 52.
My father prayed for Nigeria to work. It did not work.
It doesn't matter. What if it changes in your own lifetime? What if it changes in your lifetime? What if you no? I don't believe in us going our separate ways. That's your own agenda. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in us going our separate ways. No, I don't, because if you listen to me, if you go your separate ways, you will still see people that will rule over you, that will lord over you and take your resources away from that. No, that's true. We've seen it. Look at South Sudan. Look at South Sudan, my brother. Look at South Sudan. Look at South Sudan. I'm telling you now, look at South Sudan. So I don't believe in us going our separate ways. I believe in it making it work here. So we disagree on that. That's your own. For me, it will work. It will work. No, it will work. That's why I'm speaking truth to power. My Oga, our thoughts don't align. You said you want Nigeria to split. I don't want Nigeria to split about. I want Nigeria to work as a country and it will work. Thank you very much. So you can have your idea, what's it called, your agenda, and say that's the going separate ways. People that believe in that, they also go there and suffer because you always have an hegemony over you. That's why I say it is in this you can make it work. That's just it. So I don't believe in what's it called? It will never work and you're having a sort of agenda. That's your own problem. Hello, how are you?
Hello, good morning.
Morning. Yeah.
Sorry, I want to speak about this in Kwara.
Yes, go ahead.
I noticed something. We've been crying about Christian genocide.
Yes.
So they want to turn it around. They have to go to Kwara to kill Muslims. So that when we complain about Christian genocide, they will say at least.
No, you don't have your facts right. Christians were also killed in Woro, in Kwara. There were Christians too also killed. So you don't have your facts right. Yes, there were Christians also killed. In lesser percentage, but there were also Christians killed.
That is what I noticed. So this Christian and Muslim genocide, they want to make it equal. Because I see no reason why they would just go to a village and shoot. They all were at 20. I don't know. I can't even count. Make us help us in this country.
Amen. That is very abhorrent. That is very abhorrent. What happened in Kwara was very abhorrent. That's just it. Very abhorrent. Hello, how are you?
Rufai,
I don't believe in Nigeria splitting. I will never support division of this country. That's my opinion. Pure and simple. Hello, how are you? Yes?
Rufai, please, I'm Chris from Ogun State again.
Yeah.
Can you allow me?
Yes.
Please, my brother, I'm an Igbo man.
Yeah.
During the election last time, Atiku, Obi, Tulumbu, I tell my people, anybody that can fix Nigeria is accepted by me. I am a Nigerian. I'm from Anambra. Soludo is my governor.
Yes.
Do you know the peace I enjoyed in Igbeta? I can't enjoy it in Anambra. I believe in Nigeria. Look at what you are telling my brother at call. When you get your own, you might get some people treating you the way they treat you in Nigeria. What will you do?
Yes. That's where they will learn. That's where they will learn.
Thank you. It's better we get it right. My brother, I strongly believe in Nigeria.
Strongly.
Where I am living now, Yorubas are my family members. Not friends. I told you before, I live here Monday. I come back Saturday to listen to what happened during the week. Around 4 or 8, I follow up. But if I live here, Yorubas are with my family. I never hear any noise or threat or this or that or the other one. So my brother, I believe in Nigeria.
Bless you so much. It will work. It will work. That's why I keep talking about it. Themselves. When they lie to you and you say it's not going to work, you think, oh, splitting the country is going to cause El Dorado. You do that, you say, you now see that the people that lie to you will be your overlords. So please, I believe in a one strong, indivisible country. I'm not going to come call for the division of my country. I don't do that. Hello, how are you? I can't hear you, sir.
Morning, Mr. Rufai. This is Mr. David.
Great to have you, my brother.
Well done for the job you are doing.
Yeah.
Rufai, there's one thing I just want to say about me as an Igbo man. Yes, I understand. For we to forge as an entity, as one Nigeria, that's good. Like me now, I'm 61 years. I have not seen this kind of division, this kind of before. Even during the Civil War, according to history, the
country wasn't quite as it is now. Now, a situation whereby history has been removed, then the Igbos are not included.
No, they are bringing it back. No, let's get the facts right. As regards that matter, history has been brought back. As regards that book, the Ministry of Education has come out to say that they have nothing with that book. They are not recommending any book of such that doesn't recognize the Igbos in history. Please. No. No. They've clarified that matter. You see, don't spread misinformation. You see, the problem with a lot of you listeners is that you hear the side where go sweet you. Hey, they are marginalized. You don't hear the other side. I'm telling you the other side objectively now. And they that and said they will not. There's no way anybody can write the history of this country without writing the history of the Igbos. That's just it. The Igbos have done extremely well in all ramification, and you can see their works everywhere. So please, let's not spread misinformation. It is well, my brother. Thank you.
What about this one? The WAEC collective under this Ministry of Education.
Yeah. The what?
That one.
The WAEC what?
WAEC. The Southeast was not included. The crisis just affected the whole 5 states in Southeast.
It affected the whole 5 states. I will investigate that matter. If I get the matter, I will see it. I will investigate it. But I've not heard anything like that. But I'm sure there are people that got their results in the Southeast too.
Okay, that's second.
No, I'm not. No, wait a minute. I'm not sure that everybody in the Southeast didn't get their WAEC results.
But there's glitches.
So there can be problems there. It might not only be the Southeast with the affect, it might affect other areas. Let's stop narrowing conversations and use it to justify points. It must not only be the Southeast it will affect other people. But people also got their results. And there are people that did exceedingly well. So let's stop.
The third one, Mr. Rufai.
Yes.
What? The national passport.
Yeah.
Has been shut down.
No, I also hear that there's a story that there's a work on that. That work is going on that. In fact, I hear there was a story as regards that recently. All of that will be sorted out.
All these things only centered on one part of the country.
No, see, no. See, there's marginalization of the Igbos, I admit. But you try to paint the narrative that everything is targeted deliberately. I don't agree with that. I've told you the one about the history. The passport one, I think there was a statement released as regards that matter. And that will be sorted out. I think that will be opened up again. So don't make it everything. Because see, your mentality is what is killing you. For you now, everything you see is a snake against Igbos. No, don't think like that. Don't you make your mind be like that. Have an open mind. Hear the other side of argument and let it be convincing to you.
The presidential spokesperson said, you said it this morning. Some certain ethnic groups, because
but didn't I condemn him for that? So no, so with due respect, if I want to play your ethnic card the way you are thinking, me as a Yoruba man, buy your onuga. Hope you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jody Ann Francis, and I'm the Assistant Director of the Black Studies Program here at the City College of New York. I just want to welcome you. Before I introduce the host of the event, I just want to take this time and welcome all of you to this historic event, the Chinua Achebe Legacy Series. I have the sincere honor of introducing the host of today's event. Where do I begin? Her research interests and teaching overlap the areas of identity, representation, and aesthetics in African literature, critical race, and post-colonial theories, gender studies, and Afrocentric, Afro-Atlantic studies. She's a Fulbright scholar, the founder and editor of Afrobeat Journal. A journal bridges the gap between scholarly and artistic production in the global Black world. She's also the author of African Roots, Brazilian Right, Cultural and Natural Identity, She has published numerous essays and critical in journals noted, such as Migrations and Creative Expressions of Africa and the African Diaspora, Narrating War and Peace in Africa. She's an associate professor here of English and the director of the Black Studies program. And on top of it all, she's the innovator and creator of this series, the Chinua Achebe Legacy Series. She has become an incredible mentor to me, professor, and well, boss. Please help me welcome Dr. Cheryl Sterling.
As her boss, I made her do that. No, not really. Okay, welcome to the Chinua Achebe the Legacy Series. This is our last event for this academic year, but it's not the end of the series. Our hope is to continue this series through the next few years coming, and to have at least 1, 2, maybe 3 fabulous authors come through and share with them their amazing works. I have to really thank a lot of people who've been involved in this series. And first and foremost, I have to give thanks to the Black Studies faculty, my colleagues. And yes, please, whomever is here, please just stand up, raise your hand. Without, their support, we really couldn't have accomplished this over this past year. I also have to thank the Simon H. Rifkin Fund, the Office of the Provost, Dean Eric Weiss, who is the Dean of the Division of Humanities and Arts, the Office of Government and Community Affairs, and President Lisa Koiko, who all helped provide the funding for all of our events. And of course, the staff of the Black Studies program, Jody Ann Francis, Rose Nurse, Akorede Junior, and Desiree Ortiz. They were all the ones behind the scenes at our amazing reception and at all our events within this last year. We are here, of course, to honor and hear our legendary writer and scholar, Professor Ngugi wa Thiong'o. And I have to tell you, it's partially because of Professor Ngugi why we have this series. I always wanted to do an African literature series, but the idea started crystallizing about 2.5 years ago. I invited Professor Ngugi's son, Mukoma, to come and speak to my students and to read from his book. His book at that time, he has a new one, of course now, was Nairobi Heat. Now, when Mukoma and I got to talking about the types of things that we wanted to do, and Mukoma and I are mates, we went to school together and everything, so we just naturally slipped into this. We started to talk about doing an African Writers series. So without Professor Ngugi having generated Mukoma, the idea may have not moved from the dream to the reality that we have now. So when I came to City College, I had this idea in the back of my mind. And of course, with the support of the faculty here and with the colleagues that we have, we're able to really make it a reality. And I met 2 ladies in particular, Retha Powers, who is a writer and the assistant director of the Publishing Certificate Program, and Emily Roboto, another writer and the professor of English. Where is Emily now? Okay, and Retha, please just raise your hands. And we started to talk about this as not just a possibility, but as an actuality. And we put together a dream list of people that we wanted to bring to the college. And it just so happens that we were able to get our dream list. Mm-hmm. Now, this was really quite serendipitous because it really helped that Professor Chinua Achebe was, who is, of course, the father of African literature. He was once a visiting professor here. And so we were able to get permission from the Achebe family to call this the Chinua Achebe Legacy Series. So we also have to thank the Achebe family for this. Now, I know that your program says that, okay, Ndibe will introduce Professor Ngugi, but I'm begging my brother, please.
It's all right, there was a coup.
Please indulge me, and I will introduce both of them. Now, this series, in honoring the Chinua Achebe legacy, is truly honoring the breadth and knowledge and inventiveness of writers in our entire global village. Okay, as our guest interviewer is, of course, an amazing writer, and he was part of our series in February, and he will attest to how wonderful he was and how wonderfully received he was, okay? Not only is he an amazing novelist, he's a political columnist and he's an essayist. He's the author of the critically acclaimed novels, Foreign Gods, Inc. and Arrows of Rain. He's also the editor or the founding editor of the magazine African Commentary. He's a Fulbright scholar, and he teaches fiction and African literature at Brown, and he just told me he received a fellowship for the University of Las Vegas to write his next book. So he will be our interviewer for the evening, and welcome very much.
Thank you very much.
Now to the man of the hour, Professor Ngugi wa Thiong'o. Well, other than ushering forth Nkrumah, Professor Ngugi is the reason, I have to say, that I became a scholar of African literature. In my undergraduate career, I took a class in African literature, and of course, the first book we read was Things Fall Apart. You know, I think everyone knows how amazing that book is and how it's life-changing. And it really opened my world to the possibility of Africa. And think about it, think about a young black girl who's, from the Caribbean, never really thinking about Africa in this kind of context. So it was absolutely mind-blowing in so many ways. And then the next book that we read, the novel, was Professor Ngugi's A River Between. And when there are two characters, the two sisters, when the character of Muthoni told her sister Nyambura, I want to be made beautiful in the ways of my people, I was like, oh my God, I was blown away. And I was on the course towards graduate study. I said, this is it, this is where I'm going. I'm going to study African literature, and this is what I want to do. Now, okay, so this intro has been about me so far. All right? But it's really to tell you how much Professor Ngugi has had this profound effect across the generations. When you're reading his books, reading Weep Not Child, Devil on the Cross, Petals of Blood, A Grain of Wheat, The Trial of Didan Kamati, Matagari, you're undergoing a master class in colonialism and in neocolonialism. And of course, when Professor Ngugi approaches the topic of love in Wizard of the Crow, all the critics were like, Ngugi's talking about love? This is our political writer, okay? But in all his works, he's always talked about love. Talks about the love between the sisters, of course, in River Between, the love of one's culture, the love of one's people, the love of one's country, and of course, the love of freedom. And I think in Wizard of the Crow, the love of the two characters, Nawara and Kimathi, become the apical depiction of all of these loves. Now, Professor Ngugi is also a prolific essayist. His seminal works, Barrel of a Pen and Decolonizing the Mind, and of course now the new text, Something Torn Anew, make us understand the fullness of his ideations as a nationalist, as a Pan-Africanist, and now as a purveyor of the African Renaissance. And his memoirs, of course, okay, Dreams in the Time of War and The House of the Interpreter. They're both, it's like reading historical novels, but they give us so much of the complexities of what makes him a literary genius. And of course, we are awaiting the Nobel. So I ask you all to welcome Professor Ngugi.
Yeah, I must say that when I came here last night from Vassar College, Charity took me to dinner, and as we were walking on Douglas Avenue, It was a bit rainy, so we couldn't see all the wonderful things that she promised me about Harlem, the new Harlem that is. But we were passing next to the shop, to the hotel where I was staying. There was a small, well, I did not see a small, something called Serengeti tea. And she was telling me about it. We didn't go in because there was no food apparently. But as we were going on talking about Serengeti, another lady who was just passing by, we're not connected in any way, said, yes, Serengeti, they have very wonderful ginger turmeric tea. And it cured me, or rather she said it was, she had some allergies and they were gone. So.
Give it up for Serengeti.
So what do I do this morning? The first thing after breakfast was, even before breakfast, I went to Serengeti.
Yeah.
This is ginger, which I've been holding on to last as long as I could, And it's one of those surprising things that things begin to happen at that Serengeti place. It's really wonderful. I think you should visit it. Then somebody with a head sort of enters, casually. Then he stops. And he says, are you here? Then before he told, do you know this man there? He was telling everybody in the cafe place, in the tea place. But of course, they don't know me. I think I was surprised, but they were curious, and it was very wonderful to know he's a fellow, East African, Abdi, fellow writer, but now, in Harlem writer. I cannot really say how grateful I am to Cherry and this invitation here. I've made so many memories here. I can't go through all of them. But it's very wonderful how things have been connected. I've been connected to the very first production of the play called The Trial of Dedan Kimathi, which we did in Kenya, and which was really the best. It's my problem with the Kenya government and the authorities began with that particular play, The Trial of Dedan Kimathi. And after many, many years, I come to this lecture, and the choreographer is here, right? It's a very wonderful, kind of, connection. Then when I'm wondering where am I know Cherry, very wonderful personality. Oh, before that I should mention, no, you come last.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah, right. Before that, before I wondering whether I might get lost and so on. Then I see some other people here, I'll start with one from my new home. It's actually California, And one of the people who are here is a student at Columbia University who has been corresponding, but who actually went to high school with my youngest daughter, Mombi, who is now going to in Florida. Where is she? Is she here? Yeah, oh yes. Yeah. So actually we live, her parents now, actually we live literally in the same area of the university. Yeah, so it's wonderful just seeing her here and talking about Mombi, my daughter, and so on, But even more wonderful things, and I won't list all of them, really, because I made so many memories, different ways, And one of the memories that came to me and connected was with NYU. People don't know that I was actually a New Yorker for 10 years, as a professor of comparative literature and performance studies at NYU. And it's very wonderful for me to meet students who were my students then, but who were also novelists at the time, some of them, and who became novelists afterwards, and some who are in theater. I mean, all those connections are here. Where is Fiona? Oh, she's here, right, you know. I think she wrote a novel before she came to my class, but there's another one who wrote a novel arising from my class. Where is she? Yeah, wow. Right, yeah, from an assignment, you know. And I was very proud of that moment when she told me about it, because I did the same thing at the University of Leeds with the novel A Grain of Wheat. It was initially a class assignment. It developed into a novel, so there were some memories. So I could go on, you know, about this, you know. And of course, one other I'd like to mention is I think he left. He was in one of my students, but he was also been teaching here for the last 20 years, right? And lastly, as you can see, everything is, finally, everything was okay for me. Oh, I mean, okay here we have met several places, Florida, Massachusetts, Florida, Kenya, you know, so many places, you know, and he always has an okay story to tell. So I hope at some time we can goad him and tell us at least one okay, you know, story. But with some other connections, of course, you know. Achebe is obviously a connecting link in this. And so my theme today will actually be connected with, you know, Achebe, okay? Because I met Achebe when I was also beginning to write. And this is a story really I want to tell a little bit, you know. So I'm going to tell this story through readings from some of my works, roughly beginning from not the river between, but at least Weep Not Child, up to and including probably an excerpt from Wizard the Crow. And you mentioned love, the love part. The moment you mentioned, I said, oh my God, I have a passage on love. And I'm looking, I don't know exactly where it is. If I can find it, I'd like to end up with it. But if I don't, please get the book and you'll find it there. Right. I couldn't, right. Now, but before I met Achebe in 1962, or 61, first was 61 and 62, there was another very important influence in my life. And I want to start with her. This is my mother. You know, I came from, let me tell you how to describe this. I came from a large family. You know, I had 4 mothers and 1 father. Okay, and about 27 siblings, you know, in the same compound. It was really wonderful for us children because whatever tensions was going on around us, we didn't mind very much because we were, you know, the children, we could play with each other, we could form groups, alliances, or whatever within the same family. We didn't literally have to go outside our own family to find those alliances and friendships and also fights and other things that go on in such a large, you know, gathering. Yeah. My mother was a 3rd mother, or rather in a different sense, she was the 3rd wife of my father. And she did not read or write. Neither my father could read or write. But it's not my father actually who sent me to school. It's my mother. And in my memoir of my childhood dreams in a time of war, the frontispiece is actually my mother. She has passed on. And I want to start with, and the reason why, apart from many things that mothers do for children, I want to focus on story. Because we used to gather in each of our mother's houses particularly the senior mother, was very good. Her place was where everybody went in the evening to hear stories, okay? For food, everybody came to my mother's house. For stories of the spirit, everybody went to senior mother's, house. But the problem was that stories could only be told in the evening. Apparently, for some reason, stories disappeared in daytime. So, I want to tell the story of the woman who made me discover stories in daytime. And to be able to tell those stories to myself, I didn't have to wait for the evening. She sent me to school. And I was, so this was the last first day when I go to school, or rather the beginning. I have brought a black slate and a white chalk for my writing material. We copy on our slates what the teacher has written on the blackboard. Later, she comes around to grade on the slate, putting an X or a check against each word or number, totals them up, and then circles the cumulative number. At first, I do not realize that after she has graded, I still have to wait for her to enter the number in a register for the record. So I just rub it off as soon as the teacher has graded it. But when I go home and my mother asks me what and how I had done, and I say, oh, I rubbed off everything, she says, then don't wait for the teacher to tell you what to do. The teacher also corrects me. Otherwise, I would continue getting 0. And when later she starts writing on my slate, 10 out of 10, and my mother asks me what I had done, and I say 10 out of 10, she would ask probing questions, ending with, is that the best you could have done? This is a question she will keep on asking in response to my schoolwork, class exercises, and tests. Is that the best you could have done? Even when I tell her proudly that I scored everything and I 100%, she asks the same question in different ways until I say yes, I tried my best. Strange, she seems more interested in the process of getting there than the actual results. So I drift through the initial classes, not quite understanding why I have been moved from sub B to sub A to grade 1, all within the same quarter, a skipping of classes that continues from term to term. So within a year, I'm in grade 2, and still my mother continues to ask, is that the best you could have done? I don't know about the best that I could have done. All I know is one day I'm able to read on my own the Gikoyo primer we used in class titled Modomere wa Gikoyo, Gikoyo Reader. Some sentences are simple, like the one captioning a drawing of a man, an axe on the ground, his face grimacing with pain as he holds his left knee in both hands, drops of blood trickling down. The picture actually is more interesting than the words, which are Kamawe etemete kuguru, etemete na idanoa. That's because Kamau has cut himself. He has cut his leg. He's cut himself with an axe. Later, I tackle long passages that do not have illustrations. There is a passage that I read over and over again. And suddenly, one day, I start hearing music in the words. God has given the Agiko a beautiful country, abundant in water, food, and luscious bush. The Agiko should praise the Lord all the time, for he's ever been generous to them. Even when not reading it, I can hear the music, the choice and arrangements of the words, the cadence, or I can't pick any one thing that makes it so beautiful and long-lived in memory. I realize that even written words can carry the music I loved in stories, particularly the choric melody. And yet, this is not a story. It is a descriptive statement. It does not carry an illustration. It is a picture in itself, and yet more than a picture and a description. It is music. Written words can also sing. So later I'm able to read from the Bible stories I love so much, and this ability to escape into a world of magic is worth my having gone to school. Thank you, Mother. Thank you. The school has opened my eyes, and when later in church I hear the words, I was blind, and now I see, from the hymn, Amazing Grace, I remember Kamandora School and the day I learned to read. Interestingly, when I came to write, I wrote not in the language of my mother, the language which she used in telling me stories and to go to school and all that, but I wrote in another language. So I want to, by the way, that passage came, dreams in a time of war. Dreams in a time of war. I wrote in English, and I'll tell you why. Because English was the language was really drummed into our heads when we were in school, really literally drilled into it in every possible way. So I want to read a small section from Weep Not Child, which describes this process. I think all of you have heard, probably, because of grammar, English grammar or any other grammar, conjugation, correct? When the words do funny things, when they change their, character and some even spelling, and and it can be very confusing at times. Why a word should change, right? So the way she would do it, the teacher, I remember, she would put a word like stand on the blackboard, okay, and with the English, with the Kiko translation, Rogama, stand up. So here's a class exercise. I am standing up. What am I doing? And the class would answer, you are standing up. Again, you are standing up. And then the story, by the way, is around the main character, or the song, is a boy called Joroge, who is going to school for the first time. I draw from my own experiences, but not quite. There are a few crucial divergences, okay? So, you are standing up. Then teacher pointing with a finger, you. Yeah, no, you, yes. What is your name? Joroge. Joroge, stand up. So Joroge, the character, stands up. Learning English was all right, but not when he stood up for all the eyes to watch and maybe make faces at him. Teacher, Joroge, what are you doing? Joroge thinly, you are standing up. Teacher, slightly cross. Joroge, I'm asking you, what are you doing? Joroge clears his throat, voice thin as tail, say, you are standing up. No, 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 no. Class, come on. What are you doing? Joroge is very confused. Hands up were raised all around him. He felt even more foolish. So that in the end, he gave up the very attempt to answer. Then, leave those boys alone. Yeah. Oh, yes. Moihaki, the girl. Oh. Moihaki, stand up. Show these boys what girls can do. Now, what are you doing? Moihaki bent towards one's head, bent one shoulder. I am standing up. Good. Good, Moihaki. And now, Joroge. What is she doing? Joroge. I am standing up. The class giggled. The teacher is very angry. Class, what is she doing? And the class singing, you are standing up. The teacher is still more angry. I'm asking you, what is she doing? The class afraid, quietly singing, you are standing up. Look here, you stupid and lazy fools. How long do you take to catch things? Didn't we go over all this yesterday? If I come tomorrow and find that you make a single mistake, I'll punish you all severely. That was Weep No Child. And the story I want to tell is how I came to write Weep No Child, was where Achebe comes in. And this was, I went to Makerere University College, I think in the year 1959, actually, after this went to high school, then Makerere University College, which was actually in the neighboring territory from Kenya. It's Uganda, Kampala. It was our Harvard, our Cambridge, in those days, if you ask somebody a choice, you get anybody in Kenya at the time, I chose to go to Cambridge, Harvard, or Oxford, they were going to Makerere. Yeah, there was no two ways about it. It was that high in our collective, imagination, okay? But in my second year, I began dabbling with stories and so on. And also the novel, The River Between, I wrote it actually in my second year or thereabout, 61. Now, and then in the midst of, I got an invitation to the first major conference of writers of English expression at Makerere, Uganda in 1962. And it was great because all the greats of African literature at the time, Wole Soyinka, Chinua Achebe, Ezekiel Mfalai, Louis Nkosi, they were there, right? Langston Hughes was there, Saunders Redding was there, There were others from the Caribbean, It was really this very almost mind-boggling. So you can imagine me, my novel has not been published, I'd finished writing it, but the only thing published for me were just 2 short stories. And I'm a student at Makerere, I'm a second-year student, and I get this invitation. So you can imagine, it's very, you almost don't believe it, okay? Yeah. But surprisingly, the person I really wanted to meet was Chinua Achebe. And I'm going to read this from my third memoir, which I've just completed writing about that period of my life. I've written 2 memoirs, Dreams in a Time of War, for my childhood memoirs, In the House of the Interpreter, in my high school years, and my third memoir is my Makerere years, called the birth of a dream weaver, okay? Yeah. So I'm invited to this conference, and the person I really wanted to meet, I'm reading from the memoir now, the person I really wanted to meet was Chinua Achebe. I had met him briefly the year before when he visited Makerere and talked with English students. I was an English student, I mean, language-wise, you understand? I may have mentioned the fig tree to him, my first short story, but I didn't recall our having had a one-on-one. But now, I had a big reason for wanting to talk to him face to face, outside the formal seminars and plenary sessions. It had to do with a new work, what would later bear the name, Weep Not Child. The story of the world of Weep Not Child, which coincides with the real history of my own growing up in a small village in a time of war, as in dreams at a time of war, was the one I'd wanted to depict in my very first novel, written for literary competition. In other words, the river between, the river was written for a literary competition, but initially I wanted to write about my own life in Kenya, because we live in a state of, you know, and others, Kenyans of my generation or near my generation would know that we lived in a state of emergency for many years, you know, martial law, where all civil laws were suspended, you know, and an African person could be beaten, could be shot dead, could be taken to, all that, you know, so we lived, I went to school and through literally hail of bullets and so on, you know, and one of my half-brothers who was deaf and mute was actually shot during one of those occasions when bullets were flying all around because he couldn't hear. When he was told to stop, he couldn't hear, he just continued moving, so he was shot. So when I see all this shooting of people from the back when they're running away, it brings back my memories of Kenya all the time, you know, right? Yeah. So anyway, I've never understood why the story about my present, the reasons about myself could not come when I really wanted it for this competition. You know, the river between, which had nothing to do with the present, as it were, is a story that formed itself. You know, so I'm asking myself, I want to depict in that the story. That's my life, my recent life is what I wanted to depict in my very first novel, written for a literary competition, but it had eluded me, and instead I had written The River Between. But now, why had this story refused to form when I had needed it for the monetary award? Why now, when no prize in the horizon? The story may not be about me directly, but it's helping me clarify the nightmare that had been my life in Kenya. It makes me feel at one with the land of my birth. I'm living the inner world of my characters when I got an invitation to the Makerere conference. Another prize offered itself, a chance to show the manuscript to Chinua Achebe. This desire became insistent day and night. I had to finish the first draft at least. I made a lot of progress, the story unfolding effortlessly, following its own logic. But the inevitable happened. I got stuck. But I had written enough not to feel embarrassed about asking somebody else to look at it. It was really presumptuous of me, but it never occurred to me that Achebe might simply not want to read it, or even have the time to do so. I assumed he would. So I chose a moment after we had discussed his work, Things Fall Apart, and Lagumas, A Walk in the Night. I gave him the handwritten manuscript. That's my second surprise. He would read it, he said. I waited. By waiting, I mean the conference was only about 3 or 4 days. And I'm expecting to read a whole novel amidst, and he was a central figure in the conference, and I'm expecting to do all that, but I'm waiting anxiously. But towards the end of the conference, Achebe returned my manuscript. He had not finished the whole draft of Weep Not Child, but he had read enough to see that I had a tendency of piling up on a point already made. Like, with what? Like flogging a dead horse. The comments were brief, but much to the heart of the matter. Then he added, he had already shown the manuscript to Van Meun of Heinemann Publishers, who were present at the conference. Meun later confirmed it. He asked if I could send the manuscript when I had finished revising it. For me and the other participants from the continent and beyond, it was simply a gathering of writers. But at the time, the most I took and cherished from the conference was the fact that a publisher had expressed an interest in the book. I did not know then that Achebe had already accepted to become editorial advisor of what would later become the Heinemann African Writers series. And my manuscript under the title Weep Not Child would be the fourth in a series following the 2 titles by Chinua Achebe, Things Fall Apart, and No Longer Tease, Peter Abraham's Mind Boy, and Kaunda's Zambia Shall Be Free. Yeah. The other thing that tell in this particular memoir, I won't go into that. For a moment, I was tempted to read the section where I write about my meeting with Langston Hughes. He's just written 12 moods in jazz or something like that. And he asked me to show him Kampala. And it's very interesting, his reaction to Kampala. And I would have been very honored to read it here in Harlem, you know, because of the Harlem Renaissance and the Harlem project that you are working on and so on. But anyway, another time, you know. Because I want to go to the next thing. I told you that whereas my mother told me stories in Gikuyu language, I wrote in English when I started writing, okay? Yeah. But later, after publishing The River Between, Weep Not Child, and you're the moderator. You tell me about the time, by the way. I can go on and on. Okay?
Well, I should warn you about the time,
yeah,
right?
yeah, please, yeah.
Okay.
I'm
actually anxious to get in some questions.
Okay.
And I think that a lot of us would like to ask questions, right?
Yeah.
So maybe I'm going to invoke my dictatorial powers.
Like mine.
No, not yet.
Not yet, later.
In
okay.
about 5 minutes or so.
Okay, now I'm just going to read 2 passages only.
Okay, please.
Let me just tell you, I'm going to read from Devil on the Cross and from Wizard of the Crow. Is that okay? Is that okay?
That's Ngugi.
All right. So, later I wrote A Grain of Wheat in English and published Petals of Blood in English, you know. But at some point in my life, I changed and started writing in Gikuyu. I'll not go into that story because I've written about it in several of my books and so on, you know. I just want to read an excerpt from my first novel in Gikuyu language. And it's a novel which is very special to me because it was written in a maximum security prison, right? And I had no paper. I had to do it on toilet paper. Yeah. It's not the thin type we have, the soft type that's advertised on television. Oh, no. A bit slightly harder, but really good, wonderful writing material, okay? Right. You see what I did because of you?
Oh.
Where I marked where I was going to read.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Crocodile tears, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. No. Let me try and get. Oh my God! I hope. This is going to be very annoying. All right. It's a new book. Normally I have. Okay. Oh yeah, found it. Okay.
Good.
This
Everything is okay now.
Okay, it's okay now. Everything's okay. Yeah. As you know, his name is Okay. So, so when he is here, everything is
okay.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, actually, it's nearest to in Kiswahili you say Hakuna.
Yes.
Hakuna Matata.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everything's okay. Hakuna Matata. Right? Now, this novel really is built around a competition of thieves and robbers, native robbers and thieves, okay? They meet somewhere in a cave, somewhere in, I don't know where, maybe somewhere in Africa, somewhere in Kenya, I don't know. I think in Kenya, actually. And they are to choose the 7 cleverest thieves and robbers. But not your kind of robber who robs because he is hungry or because he has no clothes, but the robber who has more than he can have, okay? Mm-hmm. That's the one they want. If you don't rob in millions, you don't qualify, you are kicked out. You must rob in millions, okay? Now, so every competitor must say there's also present also international organization of thieves and robbers, whose headquarters was then in New York. I don't know whether it's moved yet, but it was there actually in those days, okay? So because they are the ones who are going to give the crown of glory to the winner, okay? So every competitor must come forward to the gathering of robbers and tell them how they came to rob, and also their vision for future robbery of the people, okay? This is very, very important. Now, but there's one testimony I want to read, who robs so much so that he becomes literally a philosopher of poverty, but not the Marxian one. He begins to wonder, what's all this, And what do I do with all this wealth? Until he heard about heart transplants from South Africa. There was a time when that Bernard scholar had discovered that you could actually take one heart and throw it away and get another and put it there, okay? This gave him an idea about his vision for the future. So I want to read his testimony. Whenever I, Ditika Wanguji, contemplate my extraordinary wealth, I ask myself suddenly several searching questions. With all my property, what do I have as a human being that a worker, a peasant, a small farmer, a poor person does not have? You see, my friends, I have one mouth, just like the poor. I have one belly, just like the poor. I have one heart, just like the very poor. And here I have only one. You know what I mean. Just, like the poorest of men. They have only one. And my friends, I have enough money and property to supply food for 1,000 people. But I'm satisfied with one plateful, just like other people. I have enough money to wear 100 suits at a time, but I can only put on one pair of trousers, one shirt, one jacket, just like other people. I have enough money, my friends, to buy 50 lives if lives were sold in the market. But I have only one heart and one life, just like other people. I have enough property and money to enable me to make love to 10 women every night. But one girl exhausts me after only one go. And I end up falling asleep. Without being completely satisfied. So seeing that I have only one mouth, one belly, one heart, one life, and one, you know what I mean?
Yes.
What's the difference between the rich and the poor? What's the point of robbing others? And then came Bernard, and it was revealed to me that night that in this country we should have a factory for manufacturing human parts like mouths, bellies, hearts, and so on. You know, spare parts for the human body. This would mean that a really rich man who could afford them could have 3 or 4 mouths, could have 2 or 3 bellies, 2, you know what I mean, and 2 hearts. If the first mouth became tired of chewing and his belly could hold no more, then the spare mouth and belly would take over. And when an old man like me had a sugar girl, instead of falling asleep soon after the first engine had stalled, he would simply start up the other engine. He virtually possesses 2 lives. This would mean that a really wealthy man would never die. There is another possible proverb. A rich man never dies. We could purchase immortality with our money and leave death as the prerogative of the poor.
Yes.
I was so delighted with that idea. But you know what? I made a mistake in telling my wife about it. You see, women have no secrets. At first, you see, my wife was 2 or more of, you know what I mean. When I had her mention 2 female organs, and they said she would be able to have 2 instead of 1, I was horrified. I told her, quite frankly, I would not mind her having 2 mouths or 2 bellies or multiples of any other organ of the body, but to have 2, no. I told her to forget all that nonsense. Then she started arguing back, and said that if that was to be the case, then I wasn't going to be allowed to have 2. I asked her bitterly, why do you want to have 2? Tell me, what would you use 2 for? She retorted, why do you want 2? What would you use 2 for? If you have 2, use 2 for. If you have 2, then I must have 2. Here in this country, we must have equality of the sexes. By this time, I was really very angry, and I told her to take her equalities to Europe or America, you know, New York even. Here we are Africans, and we must practice African culture. So threatening violence her, she gave up and said she'd be satisfied with just one. Now, fellow robbers, think about that vision. Every rich man would have 2 mouths, 2 bellies, 2 hearts, and 2 or more of, you know what I mean, and hence 2 lives. Our money would buy us immortality, would leave death to the poor. Bring me the crown. At long last, it has found its rightful owner. This was my first novel in Igbo language. What I was reading was a translation, which I did myself. In Igbo, it's called Shaitan Modarafaine. Okay, and it was very important in my whole psychological sort of relations to myself. You know, like you discover your own language, and I'm telling you, it's like nothing. You know, it's like, I'm telling you, it's just like nothing when you discover that you can do things with it, right? And you can make people laugh with it. And you can read the book written in African language at City College, and people are laughing, or other places. It's a very good feeling, I'm telling you. So I continued, and I think after this novel, I don't think I've ever written another novel in English. All my novels have been in Igbo. Do I have 5 minutes to?
Yes. He might as well, right?
Yeah. Good. Okay. Yeah. And I want to tout this novel, Wizard of the Crow, because whereas Devil on the Cross was written in prison, in a maximum security prison, yeah, like internal exile, this one was written in exile. And it was actually a very interesting novel. It was written between 2 oranges. Have you ever, even if you're, where is she? Have you ever heard of a novel? Have you ever written a novel between 2? Have you ever written a novel between 2 oranges? No? Oh, you see? Huh? One day. Okay, I'll tell you how. Okay. Yeah. Now, the novel actually, I started when I was teaching at the NYU, the same class that you were at, and all the others were there. You know, I started writing the novel then. But I never got it really going until, and I lived in a place called Orange. Although I taught at NYU, I lived in Orange in New Jersey. Okay? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's why the novel was started, really. A lot of it was written there. Then in 2002, we moved to California, Orange County, right? That's where the novel was finished. So you can see it was written between 2 oranges, right? So there's that kind of uniqueness about it, you know. But the key thing is I wrote it in Igbo language, and I can't find that love, which I really like, because it was really, when I wrote that particular passage on love, you know, in the Igbo language, it's like, it felt so good, you know, but I can't find it easily, so I will not bother reading it today, but because I could have. But if I find it during the question time, right. It's still my intention to actually read it. Yeah, okay. Now, but I want to read a section, you know, this novel deals with a dictatorship. I drew features of dictatorship from Chile, from Kenya, Daniel Arap Moi, Marcos, Idi Amin, you know, the different features that are exhibited by those dictatorships that rose up in Africa. You know, remember these dictatorships were really Western. I sometimes hate to call them African dictatorships because they were Western dictatorships in Africa. And you don't have to go around to prove this, you know. I mean, sort of, Idi Amin was a British soldier in Kenya fighting against Mau Mau, and he was promoted because he never killed, he never took prisoners alive. Mau Mau, he was a huge fellow, you know, so he'd taken only the heads to these British superiors, you know, and the more heads he took to them, the more promotions he got. So Idi Amin was trained by the British, you know. Later In Uganda, the same thing. He was a British soldier until the day of independence, okay? Right? So anyway, that's another subject. When I come back during the Harlem project gets going, then we can talk about that as well, okay? But anyway, this particular dictator in a country called Afraria, and the dictator is known only with the name of the ruler, you know. And he wants to build to do what the children of Israel in the Bible were unable to do. For those who know your Bible, you know that they tried to build the house of Babel, huh? And they could not do it, okay? He says, no, I'll do that myself. I want a house that goes to where God lives, because you'll be a neighbor to God. So in the morning they can have tea with God, and when he got that advice for his country, economic policy for his country, all he do is go to a neighbor, God, and say, now, what economic policies how can we rob the people a bit more? Now, he has a group of ministers who become very sycophantic. Because what's so strange about it is the way people, because they don't listen to anybody really, except those who say yes or who say what they want to hear, you know. It's the people around them who come with all sorts of fantastic schemes. So actually it's his ministers who have come up with a particular scheme of doing what they call marching to heaven, okay? And one of them is so sycophantic that, you know, that he changes his bodily form. He goes for a surgery in London, and he has his surgical, not operation, he has an entire eye system removed and another one installed so that he can see as far as possible to see. You know, to see the enemies of the ruler when they come from, wherever they might come from, he can see. And when you are plotting in their bed or somewhere, he can see, okay? So his eyes, the head is diminished and his eyes become the biggest thing about himself, okay? He's called Machokali, if I think that's the name. Another one has his ears enlarged similarly, okay? And, you know, so that he can hear enemies, you know. Another one, unfortunately, he wants his tongue enlarged, but something goes wrong, and he has problems ever after in speaking properly. But I want to tell the story of how when Machokali unfolds the vision of this house to a mass of people, he wants one of them to come up in support of the vision, okay? Right? He thinks people will become very happy. Oh, yes, we have this heaven to heaven. We shall give the World Bank, or not the World Bank, it's called the Global Bank, you know, interest and debt servicing and all the other things. We shall be happy to do that for the ruler, okay? But unfortunately, nobody raises his hands except a few members of parliament and cabinet ministers. And Machokali pleads with the people because the only hands raised were those of ministers, members of parliament, and officials of the ruler's party. But the ministers ignored them and appealed to the citizens directly. Oh, my people, are you so overwhelmed by happiness that you are lost for words? But is there no one of you able to just express his joy in words? A man raised his hand, and Machokali beckoned him to come over to the microphone. The man, clearly advanced in years, leaned on a walking stick as he pushed through the crowd. Two police officers ran to him and helped him toward the microphone near the platform. Age was still revered in Afraria, and the multitude waited for his words as if from an oracle. But when the old man began to speak, it was clear that he had difficulty in pronouncing Swahili words for the ruler, which were Mutukufu Raisi, calling out instead Mutukutu Rahisi. Now, horrified at the rulers being called a cheap excellency, one of the policemen quickly whispered in the old man's ear that the phrase was "Mutukufu Raisi, Rais Mutukufu," which confused him even more. Coughing and clearing his throat to still himself, he called out into the microphone, "Rahisi Mukundu." Oh no, it's not a cheap asshole. The other policeman whispered in the other ear, "No, no, no. Listen, listen. It is His Holy Mightiness, Mutukufu Mutakatifu," which did not help matters because the old man now said, with what the old man thought was confidence, "Mukundu Takatifu," at the mention of his holy asshole. The multitude broke out in hilarious laughter, which made the old man forget what he had wanted to say. And he stuck religiously to the phrase, "Rahisi Mukundu, cheap asshole," which made Machokali quickly signal that he be removed from the microphone. The old man did not understand why he was not being allowed to speak. And as he was led back to the crowd, he let out a scream of "Rahisi Mukundu, Mutuku Takativu, Mukundu Muktu," any combination of cheap and holy assholes he thought might work, gesturing toward the ruler as if begging for his divine intervention.
Woo.
Thank you.
Wow, that was a great feast. Let me see. I have to look at time. So about how much time do we have? 20 minutes? All right, 15 minutes isn't enough time for me to complain that I don't have enough time, but all right. Let me sort of begin by, since I have the prerogative, to sort of share quickly how important this assignment to moderate your discussion with the audience is for me. As Ngugi read for us sort of the trajectory, give us a taste of the trajectory of his creative work, it was such a nostalgic moment for me because I started out in high school reading Chinua Achebe and then Weep Not Child and The River Between and so on. And so a lot of the passages that he read brought back wonderful memories. I'm interested in original moments for writers. And so the first question that I will ask you, which may be the only question, because I like the audience to put in, throw in a question or two since we don't have a lot of time. But I'm going to preface this by telling a quick story, okay? You asked me to tell an okay story, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to tell an okay story quite, but I was invited, and the reason I'm asking, sort of making this point is that there are interesting ways in which my life has intersected with that of Chinua Achebe and the wonderful, marvelous Ngugi wa Thiong'o. Chinua Achebe was the person who brought me to this country to edit an international magazine, which he published called African Commentary. After 3 years, the magazine went under because we simply didn't have the resources to continue to publish it. And then one day I ran into John Edgar Wideman, who is a fascinating African-American writer. And so he was one of the columnists for the magazine. And John Wideman said to me, "So now that the magazine is no longer being published, what do you propose to do?" I had no idea. So I told him I didn't know what I was going to do next. Now, John looked me in the eye and said to me, "You're writing a novel, right?" I wasn't writing a novel. But the way he asked the question, I felt that it was imperative that the answer be yes. So I said yes. And so John asked me to get him 15 to 20 pages of that manuscript, and he said, "I'll see if I can get you a fellowship to study fiction at UMass Amherst, where he was then a professor." So that weekend, I wrote furiously. And all I had going for me was that I had read a lot. I've been well-trained by people like Ngugi wa Thiong'o, by people like Achebe Soyinka, and John Weidman, and Toni Morrison, and James Baldwin, and a lot. But I had no idea of the mechanics of putting a novel together, so I was just, as it were, making it up as I went. So the following week, I submitted to John the 23 pages that I was able to write in this fever of great, urgent, desperate writing. 2 days later, John Edgar Wideman called me and he said, look, okay, your manuscript is really fascinating. And he said that it reminded him of the writing of Ngugi wa Thiong'o. So I was able to get a fellowship to study fiction at UMass. And that manuscript that I submitted turned into my first novel, Arrows of Rain. So years later, in 2010, the great Mwalimu, I call him Mwalimu, teacher, and I were in Nairobi. And I told him this story of breakfast. He and I had wonderful education because every morning we met at breakfast for about 2 hours and we talked, just he and I alone. His two sons who were there, I'm actually like his older son. So my two younger brothers were usually sleeping because they had stayed up too late at night, right? So I had him to myself. Yes, a Mukoma. And so I told them this story of how I told a lie, and that's how I began as a writer. And he said that he himself had actually also told a lie, and that's how his creative career started. So I'm going to invite you to tell that story of that moment when you met the editor of the literary magazine at school, and you said to him, I have a short story to submit, and you didn't. Tell that story, please.
Actually, you see, connection. There's a lady I was talking to here before I came here, and she was talking about the quest for relevance. And she was made to elaborate on that concept. And I said, for me, the key thing about this is connection. And you can see already the connections. There's been a literary conversation, my conversation with Achebe, conversation with me and other writers and so on. And literary production really is a continuous conversation really with other writers and so on. But this story is very, very interesting. I talked about it, by the way, in a forthcoming memoir, The Birth of a Dream Weaver. Yeah. Because at Makerere College, in the English department, we used to have a magazine called Pen Point. So a literary magazine. There were actually similar literary magazines in Ibadan, that produced people like J.P. Clark and others and so on and Soyinka. We all began writing. I have a lot of respect, by the way, for student literary magazines even today. I think it's great. But this Kenyan writer, who was then the editor of the magazine, called Jordan Carriera, he has passed on, and unfortunately, anyway. And I used to admire these guys who can write, who can put a short story on paper. And I meet him out of the main hall, that's the main building of the university, accidentally. And I'm lost for words. I want to talk to him, but I don't know what to talk to him about. Right? So I told him, excuse me, Zakaria, I've written a short story. Would you like to look at it? Obviously, I thought he might say no, but anyway, he said, yes, really. So now the ball was in my court. What do? I don't have a short story. And that's how I came to write my first short story called The Fig Tree, which I mentioned, Then took it to him. He looked at it, he was critical in a very encouraging kind of way, and so on, because the initial draft was simply an episode. I just described something, here's the story. Now, he's the one who's asked a question of why, what's the motivation, why, and he taught me a few things. And that's why even today I always encourage my students, especially my children, I like to learn from other students as well. It's going to be a very incredible learning experience, learning from your peers. And I can say I learned from my peers, because I wrote a short story, he commented, and this set me thinking more seriously about short stories. In fact, my first venture in my career, I remember, I think I wrote about, let me brag about a little bit about this, because students say they have too much work, which is, I really believe you have a lot of work, But I look back, when my daughter Mombi tells me it's a lot of work, killing her, then I have to remind her gently that I wrote 2 novels, manuscripts, one major 3-act play, 2 short-act plays, 9 short stories, 60 pieces of journalism in my 4 years, at college. And they all started with that lie.
So the moral of the story is lie like hell.
One.
Okay.
You allowed one lie, not more than one lie, not more than 2.
But you must follow. Yeah, you must follow through. All right. I have a ton of questions, but then I want you to get into the conversation, because I've had hours and hours, and we speak on the phone, and we have our great stories, and we laugh a lot. So let me actually make it about you. So I'm going to invite, yes, please. You start. Yes, you've won the lottery. Yes.
My name is Avalon, and I'm Trinidadian. And I just wanted to thank you for exposing me to Africa that I never knew. I was 16 when they told us that they were going to select African literature for the Oxford A-level examination. I think it was Cambridge. So I selected to do literature for my A-levels, and my teacher selected African literature. And up to that point, everything we'd seen about Africa was a lot of tribal war and a lot of primitive portrayal on television. So when my teacher she said, do this, and she said, you're going to read Chinua Achebe first, and then you're going to do A Grain of Wheat. And she had us research you. And I remember when I saw the name, I said, this man doesn't even know about Trinidad. But they're forcing us to do this. And we were our room was not even like maybe there, and we were our literature room was under some stairs. But I did it. And I came to America, and I became a social worker. But I wanted to be a writer. My parents said, there's no money in writing, you're not going to do it. So I rebelled, and I went and I did social work, because I said, there's no money in social work either.
Yes.
But I never forgot my love for literature. And I got the courage one day to email you. And I said, oh my God, this man is somewhere in America. And I could actually communicate with him by email, because he was teaching a class. And he had his email and office hours and everything. I said, oh my God, he's real. Yes. So I emailed you, and you emailed me back.
I did.
I flipped out, running around my office, saying, oh my God, he emailed me, do you know who this is? And everybody's like, no. But the one thing you told me, you said, I told you that you inspired me to write. And you said to me, West Indian writers also inspired you.
Yes. Yes.
And I was so shocked, because it made me feel that our world was so connected, and like things that I thought were so unreal. Being a little girl in Trinidad in that little room, I said, oh my God, like he is aware, and how connected the world is, and how influential we can be on each other.
Yes.
And at that point, you sent an email to me and you said, begin to write. I haven't. But I printed out your email. I framed it.
Yes.
And I just, like, when I was coming here, I took pictures of everything. Even while you were talking. And I Facebook all my friends from high school.
Oh my gosh.
For them to know that, that little moment in that room, how big big it turned into for me. And they're all even, oh my God, you see him? I said, take a picture. It's more than, I think, I'm just saying it to say it's more than, you know, you start something really small and it mushrooms into something that impacts people in so many different places that you don't know. And I just want to thank you because you remain humble.
Yes.
I didn't expect you to write me back, and you did.
Oh,
You know,
I feel good. I must say, let me quickly. I must say I'm relieved because for a moment I was, oh my gosh, she's going to say I didn't reply.
Wow. You see, that this kind of testimony is so moving. And that's actually why I almost wrestled Cheryl when she said she was going to introduce him, because I wanted to give an introduction by telling stories about this man. He's been an incredible champion of my own work. I mean, this man is truly generous in the deepest, most profound way. But yes, I'm going to invite you to, yes.
Okay, I read The House of the Interpreter, and you spoke about yourself in that memoir.
Okay, the mic, please.
I read The House of the Interpreter, and you spoke about yourself in that memoir as somebody who was an extremely devout Christian at that time in your life. And I was told at another point in your life that you changed your name. And at this point, your latest novel, The Wizard of the Crow, you've included traditional African spirituality as kind of another character in that novel. And I want to know from you what role you wanted traditional African spirituality to play in your novel and what role you see it playing for Africa in general.
Yeah, spirituality. I'm glad you mentioned what spirituality. Because, you know, this is my little thinking, I don't know, that spirituality actually is what makes us human, different from any other members of the natural environment. That's spirituality. And if you ask me, I think many religious practices, or even the book religions, the big ones, I think what they're trying to reach is that spirituality. But sometimes they become confused the rituals by which that spirituality is expressed. And the rituals become more important than spirituality, right? You know, and all the quarrels we find, although they are simplifying matters in religions and so on, they are quarreling about rituals. Whether you do this or that, we do this, you don't do that. The rituals and spirit is not there for rituals. Rituals were there for spirituality, you know. And in that sense, you can say that every community do have rites and practices, you know, that express that spirituality. An attempt to find it, reach it, refine it, add to it, and so on. So even spirituality is not a one fixed thing. It's a growing, a developing thing, you know, all the time. Again, many religions try to make it a fixed thing. It's a fixed thing. You know, you do this, you got it, right? If you contribute to my church $100,000, you got it. Spirituality, really, no, right? So my own thinking has been, let me just very briefly say what my illicit thinking is on this. I've come to realize that the body, our bodies, individually and collectively, is the first field of knowledge, right? And you can see this, just look at children growing up. First of all, children when they are growing up, they don't, first year of 6 months, sometimes they don't know that their hands are part of themselves sometimes. And I know this because one of my sons was telling me how, there were a kid who had, when 1 year she had very long hair and they tied her into ponytails and so on. But she couldn't walk. and the father used to take her for a walk. And when he lifted her up and held her hand, he could walk. But the moment he removed her hand, right? And then one day she went to reach out for her father's hand, and she got hold of the bonnet on her tails. So she got, and she walked. Right? She marched on until the way she realized it was not, right? It's something to do with her.
She fell.
Right? She fell, and she got this strange thing, you know? So in that sense, even her fathers seemed to be more real than her, you know, her own organ of her own body. So if you look at, the body has been used as primary painting, you know. Before canvas, the body was the first canvas, you know, of knowledge. But even more than that, when you think of the body, how wonderful really the human body is, you know, everything we do in this world, there's not a single thing, not technology, in it so far that's not a projection of the function of the body. You know, if you take the technology of walking, which we call transport, cars, movement, and so on, the first movement is the legs. We move, as opposed to trees which stand in one place. Yeah? We move, right? So the cars and even rockets are really an extension of that technology, which is already a movement. You can do with the other things. You see those machines that, like now there's a lot of business going on around, you know, Harlem and so on, you know, and you see those machines, we try to have even fingers that look like human fingers, you know, very sort of like giant thing, you know, thing. They are trying to, I mean, they don't even as yet have the flexibility of these 5 fingers, you know. But there's a way in which they are also all technology of the hand. There's an extension of or projection of the human hand and so on. And we can go to the eyes again, you know, telescopes and so on, you know, I mean, they are, and the latest, what's the latest? The latest is the computer, try to imitate the brain, right? Right, memory and other things now, you know. So, you know, the body is the primary field of knowledge, including actually expression of spirituality. Now, when a people colonize the body of another, right? Or even in patriarchy, you know, when the woman's body, you know, they are colonizing the first primary field of knowledge for the individual, really, you know. And if you notice very carefully, the first thing people do when they colonize her is to put their starting point as a question mark to themselves. You look at your skin color, you know, and you begin to think it's a problem. Yes. You look at your hair, you think it's a problem. You know, your language is a problem. It's not a problem. It's a starting point. And, you know, and there's no starting point which is more of a starting point than another starting point. But someone has come to convince you that his own starting point is more of a starting point than yours, and should come to his starting point to start your own journey. And the same thing with everything, whether it's spirituality, whether the aesthetics of the body, of language, and so on. We can all reach the stars. But we don't have to stand in the same spot to reach the stars, right? But we can all reach the stars.
Speak it,
okay.
brother. Speak it. We're actually going to take, I'm sorry, he's going to sign books. So we're going to take one more question. So, oh my gosh, we're going to take 1.5 questions. So I'm going to have you ask the question, or ask half, and then she'll ask a full question. Anyway, oh, yes, please. Yes. Why not get a microphone, please?
Thank you. My name is Emmanuel. I'm a Liberian international transfer student. And I'm going back to 1977. It turns out to be your most difficult and changing year. You mentioned your internal exile. You were arrested. You were in prison. you make a very rare decision to write in your mother's tongue. And even after that, even when you left your country, you still kept on writing what inside you. I mean, the regime is ruthless, is taking all of your books from the institutions. They're cutting you off, but you seem to be burning inside. So what really kept you going in 1977 after you were arrested and in prison? Thank you very much.
What kept you going? Oh, what kept me going? Now, this, I'm telling you, one of the things, again, let me go to the child, because I'm very fascinated with children when they're growing up, you know, in terms of, you know. Have you ever seen a child when they discover the power of their legs, you know, when they can move? They move, actually, let me try. Yeah? I watched this when they discover that they can, first of all, when they discover they can call you and you respond, then they call you again, and again, and again, because fascinated that they have this power, and you are responding to this. It was like they can't believe it, you know. And also walking, you know, they do one step, then another, and then they're looking, and then the moment they can, they run and they hide, but they keep one eye to their mother. When they find, if their mother is not there, they come back running. But as long as they are aware of their mother is, they can go as far as they can, as long as they are sure their mother. Now, that discovery for me is very important. To discover Kenya, Africa, my skin, my hair, is my mother, right? My language, my mother, you know. As long as I am in touch with it, I can go as far as I can, right? You know, and it's given me so much, you know, really, you know. I continue, first I changed my name, as you know, I used to be called James Gogi. Then I realized that, you know, both slavery and colonialism meant literally African people being made to abandon by force. By the way, it's the violence involved in it. You know, it's not simply that they imitated simply because, you know, this and that. In the case of slavery and plantations, it was a violence, both over the language spoken and the names given, right? You know, but in that, during the colonial, is another phenomenon where people come willingly, are made to believe that their names as a willing choice is not so important. So I discovered my own name. And what I did, because I published my first 3 novels in English under James Gogi, even my publisher was telling me, please, you are going to lose an audience. You have already built an audience under James Gogi. Can't you wait until, no. If I discover this is the case, you know, I can't continue with this line anymore. And please, I'd like to have all my books, even the ones which were under James Gogi, to come and go to art, you know. And it's the best thing I've done for myself. You know. But I cannot honestly overemphasize this alienation from our starting point. It's the most, we don't see it sometimes, you know, but we can't start life by questioning. But you think you are a problem, if I think I'm a problem, if I think my name is a problem, if I think my skin color is, if I think my hair is a problem, and here I might want to mention something. There's a girl who did an impossible thing. She won some Olympics. What's her name?
The South Africa.
No. She's an African American. Yeah. She did the most incredible thing, which you think everybody would be sort of, and the odds against everything, and she achieves that. And what were some people criticizing? That her hair was not dead enough, right? That, you know, and you say, why? Can't you see what she's done? You know, even if she was wearing stones on her head, can't you at least see what she has done, right? And you are focusing this. That to me was an expression of total alienation, you know. And believe me, we have been alienated from ourselves in different ways. So if we accept ourselves, our body, our languages, the question of connecting with other worlds, that's part of the natural process of development, right? So put it this way, if I know, and I keep on saying this, if you know, your mother tongue, if you know all the languages in the world, and you don't know your mother tongue, that's slavery, enslavement. But if you know your mother tongue and add all the languages of the world, that's empowerment. And what we want is empowerment from whichever is our starting point, right? But we go questioning ourselves, our starting point, instead of connecting with others and so on, And as I said, we can reach the stars, but we don't have to do it from one starting point, called London or Paris or wherever. Right?
All right. Yeah, you. Last question, and then Professor Starling will make closing remarks, and Professor Ngugi has graciously agreed to sign books. So, yes.
Okay, I don't have a question. I have an advice for the woman from Trinidad. And that advice is this. Early on in the reception, Professor Ngugi and I were talking about the influence of the Pan-Africanist from Trinidad, George Padmo, who had come not only to Kenya, but was also in Liberia, where I'm from, and the young man behind that. You made a mistake this evening. Your mistake was you didn't tell a lie. You should have lied and told him, yes, I have written my first story. Would you promote it?
And try, and go and write it.
Wow. That is such a brilliant note on which to segue into. Are you making remarks?
Let me just say one quickly.
Okay.
Let me just say. I can't. You say one quickly. I just meant because you mentioned that, and it reminded me as I responded by saying how the big impact that the works of George Laming from Barbados had on me, particularly in the case of my skin at Makerere. And I'm glad to say that on July 9th, I'm going to Barbados to give the George Laming lecture. I think about Barbados.
All right. The last word from Professor Starling.
The last word is thank you all for coming. This has been absolutely wonderful. And thank you, and thank you, Professor Ngugi. This has been, I think, the best of the series. Okay?
High five.